I just got back from Peru, where I saw one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. What am I referring to? I just might have seen a dead alien, or an alien-human hybrid, or an entirely new branch of hominid, or an ancient human mutilated in a bizarre way to imitate what looks like a gray alien. I'm of course talking about these ancient Peruvian tridactyl, three-fingered and three-toed mummies.
Alien mummies.
Alien corpses. Mummified alien bodies.
Is this real?
Mummified aliens
of Nazca, Peru. The f*** is that?
Oh my god. I can't wait for you to see these things because they're absolutely insane. And the facts around them and the region they were found in are just as trippy. But you're probably already thinking, Jesse, these were already proven to be a complete hoax. Why are you platforming this ridiculous topic? To you, I urge you to earnestly contend with these mind-bending facts. Top forensic experts in Peru, Mexico, and the United States have all investigated these bodies. After thorough investigation, they all think that these beings were probably once alive. They even looked for deliberate mutilation of the fingers and toes, which they found no evidence of.
There's data to show that some of these bodies can be interpreted to be perhaps living organisms.
It's not that they cut off one finger or the other finger.
The bodies are real.
You don't think they were constructed at all?
No, it would be very difficult.
You need to be the best surgeon in the world to do that and replicate.
Catastrophic disclosure is happening in Latin America.
Thanks to our amazing friend, Michael Mazzola, who's coming out with an epic documentary on the mummies later this summer. That documentary is going to be called This Is Not a Hoax. And please pre-order his book, Catastrophic Disclosure, which I am linking in the description. We got a front row seat to this entire thing. We were able to go to Peru and see three of the most interesting tridactyl beings: Montserrat, Sebastian, and Santiago. One of my best friends and fellow UFO freak, Amar Kandil from the massive and very inspirational YouTube channel Yes Theory, decided to join me on this trip.
There's a mutation in one of those genes that could cause changes in digit development.
It has a fetus inside the body.
Oh my god.
And the hand and the feet of these fetus are also tridactyl.
Never in the 8 years I've been researching have I mentioned or said the word extraterrestrial. Never. We are talking about humanoid species.
Just from an anthropology perspective, that should be the most fascinating thing.
Graphic evidence of tridactyly exists all over planet Earth.
Everything came from a single place.
This name comes from the word in the Nazca language, laboratory, where cloning and hybridization were done.
These bodies connect with technology. But if I want to use the technology for reverse engineering, then I prefer to hide the bodies and use it for war, right?
We have caught the Peruvian government and Ministry of Culture in multiple instances of bad faith acting around this case. For some reason, they don't want this case to see the light of day.
I put a lawsuit against them for $300 million.
I repeat, that one is fake.
I'm doing something real and important, and I'm not a liar.
And if you watch this entire episode and wait until the end, you'll see how we're using state-of-the-art ancient DNA analysis techniques to definitively tell you the beings that we're looking at. Maybe we can solve this mystery once and for all.
One thing I wanted to mention, I haven't watched it yet, but I heard our friend Ernie Klein texted us, and he just said, I hate being right all the time. And it was about the mummies, which we were very dismissive of because we saw the little ones in Congress. But apparently Jesse Michaels made a really cool video where he deep dived into some of these mummies. So I'm going to keep an open mind because Ernie Klein is teasing the shit out of me, and I'm going to check out what it is that Jesse came up with. But I heard it's really good. I just haven't watched it yet, so I'm going to watch it actually right after this, and I hear it's good.
What I saw online is that Jesse is now quarantined because he came into contact with these mummies. So I want to watch it too. If Ernie is vouching for it, I'll take a look. Anyway,
That's right.
Good week, Jeremy, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, talk to you soon, Jeremy.
1, 2, 3 fingers.
1, 2, 3. It's not that they cut off one finger or the other finger. No, there are 3.
That's a CT scan. Yeah, there's no way. You can't fake that. I mean, I don't need to be a forensics expert to say that if that's a real image, there's no way that that's fake.
Dude, look at the fingers. Look at the fingers here. That's like the realest.
Oh my God. At this point, you are probably convinced that these aren't art pieces glued together, like Flavio Estrada and the Peruvian Ministry of Culture claim. They seem a whole lot like organisms that are anatomically self-consistent. Just look at the image reconstructions from the CAT scans. You have great independent researchers like Gonzalo Chavez, who helped set up tridactyls.org, pointing out that the DICOM files made public, if you look at these CAT scans around even the J-types, the reptilians, you can see capillaries nourishing the eggs inside one of their bodies. I don't even know if the most advanced synthetic biology going on in the United States can fake some of this stuff, let alone a vaquero named Leandro who lives behind a chicken coop in Peru. We will link all of the medical imaging done on all of these beings on tridactyls.org, which contains all of the DICOM files with CAT scans and other data, so you can look at all of this stuff yourself.
We feel that some of the entities are worthy of further investigation.
John McDowell, who is president of the American Forensics Association for a year and just won the highest award in the country for forensics, the Grand Wall Award, says this.
There is evidence, there's data to show that some of these bodies, these entities, can be interpreted to be perhaps living organisms.
McDowell saw the bodies in person. He was joined by Jim Caruso, the chief medical examiner for Denver and a forensic pathologist. A former medical officer in the Navy for decades, Caruso has dozens of peer-reviewed scientific papers and has personally performed over 300 autopsies. Another person who isn't a stranger to autopsies is Dr. David Ruiz. He's the president of the Peruvian Society of Legal Medicine, so he's kind of the equivalent of McDowell in Peru.
I have been president of the Peruvian Society of Legal Medicine, right? It's equivalent to McDowell. As a doctor, as you call it, a conventional doctor, we see scans and MRIs and images all the time. I mean, we realize when there is something real or something unreal.
He takes things even farther than McDowell, confidently claiming that these are non-human but very real beings.
And that the Tridactyls have been visiting us for thousands of years.
We invite the scientists of the world, the professors, the professionals from different universities to be a little more interested in knowing this. Never in the 8 years I've been researching have I mentioned or said the word extraterrestrial. Never. We are talking about humanoid species. We are talking about perhaps a hominid like us, a three-fingered hominid. The word extraterrestrials has been used by the scientists who do not want to investigate, the archaeologists who resist accepting this and try to discredit it. They call them fake extraterrestrial mummies.
And then you have Chief of the Medical Division for the Mexican Navy, Jose Zalce. He joins Ruiz, but he goes even farther than him, saying not only are the bodies definitely real organisms, he speculates that the beings are so genetically dissimilar to humans that they might be extraterrestrial.
In the big bodies like Maria, the DNA show us that there were around 70% known DNA, but there were 30% completely different.
Joe Rogan's talking about the Nazca mummies. Jesse Michaels is talking about them. Luke Caverns is doing a show on them. Everybody is talking about the Nazca mummies. So I guess it's time to do a Nazca mummy update. Well, it's making a sound now, guys, and I love it. The truth is getting out. So what do we have to talk about today other than multiple people making videos about it? Well, we've got Eric Burleson, who has actually seen some of the mummies and has been speaking out about them at the urging, no less, of David Grush.
What about the Nazca mummies? You think they're digging aliens out of the ground down there, or do you think it might be all for show?
I think that the mummies that I saw are probably fake. The ones that were in Mexico City. I was hoping that I was going to see the larger mummies, the ones that Jesse Michael just recently saw. But that was not the case. So I guess in order to see those, you got to fly to Peru with special permission. And Peru is not exactly, and Mexico City is not exactly the safest place to go to.
Okay, now he did have some additional comments, talking about David Grush and how David Grush was shown in briefing material, and we don't know what all David was exposed to, but whatever it was, it made him encourage Eric Burleson to go down and see the mummies because at least the human-sized ones were very similar to some evidence that David had been shown. So I'm really excited that Eric is at least open-minded to it. Now, like Jesse Michaels, he didn't have a very favorable view of the little guys, which I think is really unfortunate because that's where we get the complete picture of the mummies is by examining all the different specimens. Now, at the hearing, they went into some detail about the Nazca mummy, the little guys.
I have had the opportunity to analyze more than 10 of these so-called small bodies, which on average measure 60 centimeters in height. Of these bodies, it is relevant to point out their anatomical particularities, which make them unique, such as its elongated skull of large size in proportion to the body, with a very large brain volumetric content capacity, very large, and that they have a rectangular shaped foramen magnum just at the center of the base of the skull, which is very different from most species that were compared. Its neck has anatomical structures that would allow its probable elongation or contraction to facilitate its movement. Same thing happens or occurs in some types of turtle species. In the thorax, we can observe that the ribs are continuous from end to end at their point of union with each vertebra and are completely horizontal. Regarding its abdominal cavity, we have been able to observe ovoid structures or eggs of different sizes that allow us to affirm that it was in different stages of gestation and development. Embryonic structures have been identified in these eggs, thus confirming that it was a specimen undoubtedly alive during and in the reproductive and gestation stage. The clearest and most evident characteristic is found in their upper and lower extremities, made up of long bones that are hollow on the inside, but they are divided by an intraosseous lamina, which provides lightness but hardness and structural resistance.